Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on behalf of the City of Newport News, City of Hampton, City of Poquoson, and York County. For those of you that don't realize it, the Peninsula Regional Animal Shelter is owned, operated, and managed by 4 jurisdictions. So you'll also notice on the, certainly on the dedication plaque, as well as on the logo for the Peninsula Regional Animal Shelter, that all 4 jurisdictions are duly noted. It's probably as exciting a day as we've had since we opened this shelter a little over 3.5 years ago. We are, if you're not familiar with the Peninsula Regional Animal Shelter, it has the distinction of being the shelter in the state of Virginia with the highest intake of any public or private shelter in the state of Virginia. It means the most animals come into this shelter, more than any other shelter in the state of Virginia. We have, though, on a good side of that distinction, up to probably a week ago, I'm told that we have adopted during that roughly 3.5 years, a little over 8,400 animals since opening, which is pretty fantastic. I imagine I told our shelter manager, who'll be speaking in a minute, Roger Isles, that I'm looking forward to hitting the 10,000 mark on those adoptions. And probably, if anything else, what we're here is to look at not only a generous gift by the Petco Foundation, but a way that we're going to even accelerate meeting that 10,000 animal goal. So without further ado, I would like to recognize Dr. Pat Woodbury for her remarks. She has been on council since 2008. She's been instrumental not only in seeing the dedication of the shelter, the groundbreaking and the dedication, a strong advocate for the shelter and its programs, and most recently, and I think he's running around here, adopted an animal from the shelter. So they have a new family member that came from the Peninsula Regional Animal Shelter. And with that, Dr. Woodbury.
I want to welcome you all here today, and since I'm a teacher, I want to make sure you were listening to what Michael had to say. Now, how many, who can answer this, gets a free puppy? How many of you, how many jurisdictions are a part of this facility? More? Very good. Now, can you name them? Just one.
York County, Newport News.
Newport News, York County. One more. Ah, yes. So you were listening, and that's good. I want to talk to you just a bit about regionalism. It is such a powerful tool that we can use in our city governments and our jurisdictional governments. And this is an example of what goes really well. On the other regional board I serve, we have some real problems because of a Chesapeake Bay that divides us. So the HRT is not as easy to do regionally as something like this, a project like this. But I do support it a great deal, and I have from the beginning, because we have wonderful facilities here, and facilities that are well, I guess to me, I'm so glad to hear the feedback from people who do adopt. See, it's not only dogs that do this. Bless her heart. I'm so sorry. Give her some keys. Keys always keep kids really occupied. Then you can't get in the car. But anyway, I want to just a bit of levity here. One of my favorite sayings, I guess it could be, I have a whole list of advertisings that you see in people's offices. For instance, an eye doctor would have, if you're looking for something, this is the place to be. And the one we want to think of as a veterinarian is come, sit, stay. So I invite you all to come and to sit and to stay until you get a puppy or a kitten to adopt. You're going to hit that 10,000 before you know it, Mike. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Petco, for this generous gift. And thank you, Mr. Pawlowski. that you didn't give the whole hour speech. Thank you all.
We can talk about what we do in life-saving, we can talk about numbers, we can talk about everything, but really what it comes down to is where we are day in, day out, and our commitment to the animals in the shelter, and it's unwavering. And with that in mind, I just want to give and shout out a couple of people that I think made today possible. And with that in mind, it would be remiss if I didn't start with James McElhaney, Director of Vehicles and Equipment Services, Chris Perry, Assistant Director, Bobby Childress, owner, which is the owner of Coastal Graphics, that is putting this together for us. So you can see a dedicated team from just that one side. Without the assistance of communications from Leanne Sowell Adams, Dale Collins, Whitney Cunningham, and certainly a shout out from my team at the shelter would be Bridget Dugan. Fantastic. So yes, take a moment for that. So to start the story, so how did we get here today? Well, I took 64, I went down Mercury, and I took that. So it started with a conversation with my senior team and talking about what we can do as the next chapter in the story of the shelter. And in that conversation, we talked about one of our long-time goals was to put an adoption vehicle together and out, and we knew what that would mean for the shelter. So in that conversation with the senior team, Kelsey Bergen's name came up, and she's here today, and she has a skill that a lot of us would like to think we have, which is a good ability to write a grant. I think up until this point, we weren't that successful. With Kelsey on board as one of our volunteers, she brought that skill set, and through her help and writing the grant to the Petco Foundation, this is the labor of what you see in front of you. So just if I'd like to take a moment and just thank Kelsey for what she had done. Okay, so there's the embarrassing moment for Kelsey. But truly from a perspective of a shelter, I mean, you're as good as the staff that you have within that shelter. And obviously for us, the dedication, as I mentioned before, is there every day, 365 days a year. It doesn't matter, rain, shine. Those animals need to be cared for, they need to be walked, they need to be taken care of. And we are a full-service shelter. We have, again, a veterinarian on staff, so it gives us a dimension and a level that a lot of other shelters don't have, where we can immediately address concerns and issues. We're very fortunate that we have animal control divisions working out of the shelter. Everyone from Newport News Animal Services to Hampton Animal Control, and then York County Animal Control also. So again, it gives us a great opportunity to communicate. So we know what's moving, we know what's happening in our own city and cities that we represent. And hopefully, we represent those cities very well. So I'm excited to acknowledge Mark and the Petco Foundation. Without that support and that partnership, we would not be here. Without Kelsey's involvement, again, we wouldn't be here. Without the staff involvement, we would not be here. So there are a lot of players that made this happen today. And again, it's my pleasure to be able to acknowledge them. So to my team, to my colleagues, I'd just like to say thank you and well done.
Hello, everybody. We have a couple of words to kind of go over. We're so excited to be here. This partnership is absolutely wonderful. A couple of words about Petco. We work at a special company, and that special company allows us to have partnerships within the community and do some very special things, the same special things that you're able to do. We care very deeply about our communities that we serve, and we're very collaborative with them. With that said, we are all so excited to be here. These are your managers from the immediate area, and thank you. Thank you for everything that you do.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kaylin Dugan. I am a groomer at the Newport News Petco, and on behalf of Petco, I'm going to tell you a little bit of information about the Petco Foundation. We're proud to celebrate the life-saving work for the Peninsula Regional Animal Shelter Adoption Bus. When it comes to investments, the Petco Foundation is dedicated to supporting organizations that work hard to save animal lives. When a customer donates at the register at Petco, their act of generosity is combined with millions of others to do big things for animals. Thanks to that generosity, since 1999, we've invested more than $250 million to support life-saving work in communities across the country. And in doing so, we've developed an evaluation model to determine where our support will make the most significant life-saving impact possible. In short, the Petco Foundation's life-saving grant investments are awarded to the most efficient and productive organizations that are dedicated to saving lives. Recipients like the Peninsula Regional Animal Shelter represent the very best of our country's animal welfare organizations, whose staff and volunteers continually strive to create life-saving communities. They are the organizations that are not afraid to try new, innovative ways of doing things, that stretch their funding as far as it can go for the animals in their care. And that brings their communities together to create solutions that will help animal lives that they deserve. It is our honor to support an organization and community that has come together to save the lives of animals, because together we can create a life-saving nation. The Petco Foundation is pleased to have supported Peninsula Regional Animal Shelter with a $50,000 life-saving grant investment that helped fund their adoption bus and will support their continued goal of helping all animals in their community. So on behalf of Petco, this is our contribution, and we hope it sees great things come about.
Thank you.
I think this is the moment in time I've been instructed to set up our unleashing of the bus ceremony. So Kelsey and Linda, Cindy, Dr. Woodbury, Roger, Mark, the Petco folks, certainly come on up. And I guess get behind, unless, Bridget, you may have other instructions, everyone behind the leash, if you will.
Sorry about that.
We were going to pipe in that sound, but we have it naturally.
Good boy. Now he wants to lay down after the treat. Yeah, I think so.
Today, the Peninsula Regional Animal Shelter is out at Celebrate the Park at the Mariners Museum and Nolan Trail in Newport News. We're here with several other vendors and city establishments. We've brought 4 of our adoptable dogs. As part of our adoption bus unleashing, today was our first adoption event with our Love Bus. To find out more about our adoptable animals and the animal shelter, you can find us on Facebook and our website at www.peninsulaanimalshelter.com.